Alien classmates invited me to the beach, then invited themselves all over me. The invitation. Milo Reeves stared at the holographic message floating above his datapad, reading it for the 5th time in as many minutes. The elegant script seemed almost too formal, too deliberate to be real. Milo Reeves, we request your presence at Observatory Deck 7 during the Perseid convergence. We believe your company would enhance our observation. Vera and Keith Solen. For 3 years, the Solen twins had been ghosts in his advanced propulsion engineering class, brilliant, beautiful, and utterly untouchable. They sat together in the back row, their heads bent close in whispered conversation in that melodic language from Tethys 7, taking perfect notes and leaving immediately when class ended. Milo had learned everything about them from a distance. How Vera's laugh sounded like wind chimes when Professor Dmitri made a terrible physics joke. How Keith's expression softened when they discussed sustainable energy. How both of them seemed to glow faintly in dim lighting. He'd never spoken more than polite greetings to either of them. This invitation made no sense. Observatory Deck 7 was restricted to graduate research only, requiring special clearance. Somehow the twins had secured access, and somehow they wanted him there. Milo checked his reflection in the bathroom mirror, running fingers through his perpetually messy dark hair, wondering if this was an elaborate prank. But he showed up anyway, because he was weak and hopeful and completely gone on both of them. The observation deck was dimmer than he expected, emergency lighting casting everything in soft amber. Through the massive transparent dome overhead, stars wheeled in their ancient patterns. The meteor shower hadn't started yet, but the twins stood silhouetted against the cosmos, watching his approach. Vey returned first, and Milo's breath caught. She wore something flowing and iridescent that caught the starlight. Her skin, that distinctive Tethesian complexion that shifted between deep ocean blue and shimmering turquoise, seemed more vibrant than ever. Her smile was warm, genuine, nothing like the polite distance she'd maintained for years. "You came," she said, and her voice held something that sounded like relief. Keith stepped forward, movements graceful and deliberate. Where Vera burned bright, Keith glowed quiet and steady, his features softer but no less captivating. "We weren't certain you would accept."
The observation. Milo swallowed hard, trying to find his voice. "I almost didn't believe it was real. You two have barely said 10 words to me in 3 years." "We've said many words," Vera replied, moving closer. "Just not aloud, not where you could hear them." The observation deck's artificial gravity system hummed softly beneath their feet. Keith gestured toward the center of the room where cushioned platforms were arranged in a circle, designed for long observation sessions. "Please, sit with us. The convergence begins in minutes." Milo settled onto one of the platforms, hyper-aware of how Vera and Keith positioned themselves on either side of him, close enough that he could feel warmth radiating from their bodies. Tethesians ran warmer than humans, he remembered from xenobiology class, something about their metabolism adapting to deep ocean pressures. "Why me?" he asked quietly. "Why tonight?" Keith's fingers brushed against Milo's hand, tentative, testing. "Because we've been afraid," he admitted. "On Tethys 7, what we feel is expressed immediately. Touch is our first language. But here, among humans, everyone maintains such careful distance. We didn't know if approaching you would be welcome." "We've watched you," Vera added, and her hand found Milo's other side, palm sliding against his. "The way you solve problems in class, how you help other students without expecting recognition, how you laugh at yourself when you make mistakes. We wanted to know you beyond observation." The first meteors began streaking across the sky, brilliant trails of light that reflected in the twins' eyes. But Milo couldn't look away from them. "I've wanted to know you too," he confessed, voice rough. Both of you. I thought I was imagining things, the way you'd sometimes look at me." Veyra's thumb traced circles on his palm, and Milo realized the gesture wasn't casual. It was deliberate, significant. On our world, this means interest, permission to come closer. "And this," Kythe murmured, his other hand coming to rest gently on Milo's shoulder, "means invitation." The gravity system fluctuated slightly, a programmed feature during meteor showers to simulate the freedom of space observation. Milo felt lighter, and suddenly, Veyra was closer, her face inches from his. "May we?" she whispered, and Milo's answer was to close the distance himself. Her lips were soft and warm, tasting faintly of something sweet and foreign. She made a sound of surprise and pleasure, and then Kythe's mouth was on Milo's neck, kissing the sensitive skin below his ear with devastating gentleness. "Finally," Kythe breathed against Milo's throat. "Finally, finally." Veyra pulled back just enough to meet Milo's eyes, and he watched fascinated as patterns of light began rippling beneath her skin, bioluminescent markers that glowed aquamarine and silver. "We light up when we feel intensely. It's impossible to hide." Kythe was glowing too, softer patterns in teal and pearl that pulsed in time with his heartbeat. "Everyone would know what we are feeling right now," he said, and there was wonder in his voice. "But here, it's just us." The descent. The meteor shower painted the sky in streaks of gold and white, but none of them were watching anymore. Veyra kissed Milo again, deeper this time, her fingers threading through his hair. Kate's hands slid beneath Milo's shirt, exploring the planes of his chest and stomach with careful reverence. "There's a private chamber," Veyra said against Milo's lips. "Through there. We reserved it." "You planned this," Milo said, not accusingly, but with dawning realization. "We hoped," Kate corrected, helping Milo to his feet. "Hoping isn't planning." The meditation chamber was smaller, more intimate, with adjustable gravity controls and soft lighting that could be dimmed to near darkness. Veyra touched a panel and the gravity decreased to 20%, enough to feel weightless without floating away completely. Milo's stomach flipped with the change, but Veyra steadied him, her body pressed against his. "Better?" she asked. "Better," he managed, then gasped as Kate pressed against his back, creating a circuit of warmth and contact. "In Tethesian culture," Kate explained, his voice low and intimate near Milo's ear, "we don't separate physical connection from emotional truth. To want someone is to reach for them. To love is to intertwine." "Twins especially," Veyra added, her hands working at the fastenings of Milo's shirt. "We've shared everything since birth. Sharing joy, sharing pleasure, it's natural to us." Milo helped her remove his shirt, then reached for hers. The fabric slid away like water, revealing the luminescent patterns that covered her torso, pulsing brighter with each touch. Kate was already removing his own clothes, movements fluid and unself-conscious. In the low gravity, they moved like dancers, like celestial bodies in orbit around each other. Veyra guided Milo down onto the padded floor, her body settling over his with perfect weight. Kate stretched out beside them, his hand exploring Milo's hip, his mouth finding Veyra's shoulder. "Tell us if anything is too much," Veyra said, her luminescence casting sapphire light across all of them. "We want this to be good for you." "It already is," Milo breathed, overwhelmed with sensation. Veyra's thighs bracketing his hips, Kate's fingers tracing patterns on his skin, the reduced gravity making every movement feel suspended and eternal. Veyra began moving against him, slow and exploratory, learning his responses. Her light pulsed stronger, and Milo realized it was synchronized with her pleasure. Kate kissed Milo deeply while his sister found her rhythm, then broke away to trail kisses down Milo's chest. The chamber filled with soft sounds, breath and whispers, and Tethesian words that sounded like song. Veyra's movements became more urgent, more confident, and Milo gripped her hips, helping guide her.
Kate's mouth was everywhere, adding layers of sensation that built towards something overwhelming. Beautiful, Vera gasped, her entire body glowing now, patterns racing across her skin like waves. You're so beautiful, both of you.
The convergence. Kaith shifted position, his body aligning behind Milo, creating a new configuration of touch and heat. His hands slid around Milo's waist, anchoring him as Vera continued her rhythm above. The reduced gravity made everything feel dreamlike, suspended between Earth and stars. "Let us show you," Kaith murmured against Milo's shoulder, "how we love on Tethys 7. What followed was an exploration that blurred the lines between three separate beings. Vera leaned forward, her chest pressed to Milo's, while Kaith's careful touches sent electricity up his spine. They moved together with increasing synchronization, as if they'd always known how to fit together, how to build pleasure between them like constructing something beautiful and complex. Vera's luminescence blazed brighter, casting the chamber in brilliant aquamarine light. Kaith's patterns answered hers, the two siblings' glows pulsing in harmony. Milo watched, fascinated, as their bioluminescence synchronized with their mounting pleasure. "On Tethys 7, Vera gasped, her movements becoming less controlled, more instinctive. "When hearts align like this, we call it stellar convergence, like binary stars caught in each other's gravity." "Except we're three," Milo managed, his hands exploring wherever he could reach. Vera's back, Kaith's arm, the warm skin that glowed beneath his fingers. "A trinary system," Kaith agreed, his voice strained with pleasure. "Rarer, more powerful." The meditation chamber seemed to pulse with their combined energy. Vera's rhythm grew desperate, her breath coming in short gasps that sounded musical, otherworldly. Kaith's grip tightened on Milo's hip, his own breathing ragged against Milo's neck. "Close, so close, both of you, please." Milo didn't know if it was the reduced gravity, the overwhelming sensation, or something about the way the twins' bodies responded to pleasure, but when Vera's climax hit, her entire body lit up like a supernova. The light cascaded across her skin in waves, and Milo felt her trembling above him, heard her cry out in that melodic Tethisian language. Kaith followed moments later, his own luminescence flaring brilliant teal, his body shuddering against Milo's tide. The sensation of being between them, feeling them both come apart, was enough to push Milo over the edge. His own release crashed through him with unexpected intensity, drawn out and amplified by their continued movements. For several heartbeats, the chamber was filled only with the sound of their breathing and the soft glow of Tethisian skin gradually dimming. They stayed intertwined, no one willing to break the connection yet. "That was," Vera began, then laughed softly. "I don't have words in any language." "Perfect," Milo supplied. "That was perfect." Kaith pressed a gentle kiss to the back of Milo's neck. "The first of many, we hope." They rearranged themselves carefully. The low gravity made it easy to shift without separating completely. Vera curled against Milo's side, her head on his chest. Kaith wrapped around both of them from behind, creating a cocoon of warmth and safety. Through the chamber's small viewport, meteors continued their ancient dance across the sky, indifferent to the small miracle happening below.
The aftermath. Dawn approached slowly, the sky outside shifting from black to deep purple to rose gold. The twins' luminescence had faded to a soft glow, like moonlight on water. Milo traced patterns on Vera's shoulder, while Kaith's breathing evened out against his back. "Can I ask you something?" Vera said quietly, a note of vulnerability in her voice that Milo had never heard before. "Anything. On Earth, in human culture," she began carefully, "is it possible to love two people equally without choosing between them?" Milo's heart clenched. He turned slightly so he could see both of them. "Are you asking if humans can have what you two are offering me?" We know it's uncommon, Kaith added softly. We've studied human relationship structures. Monogamy is the standard. We don't want to ask you for something impossible. Milo looked at Vera's hopeful expression, then back at Kaith's careful one, and felt something settle into place in his chest, something that had been searching for a home for 3 years. I don't know if it's common, he said honestly, but I know that I've wanted both of you since the first day of quantum propulsion theory, when you sat in the back row and Vera made Kaith laugh so hard he snorted. I know that trying to choose between you would be like trying to pick which star in a binary system burns brighter. Impossible, and missing the point entirely. Vera's eyes brightened with tears. You mean... I mean yes, Milo said firmly. Every meteor shower, every Friday night you can book this deck, every moment you'll have me. Kaith made a sound that was half laugh, half sob, and kissed Milo's shoulder. We were so afraid you'd say no, that we'd misread everything. You didn't misread anything, Milo assured them. I'm exactly where I want to be. They lay together as the station's artificial dawn cycle completed, bathing the chamber in warm golden light. Eventually, they'd have to return to the world outside, to classes and expectations and curious questions. But for now, they simply existed together. 3 orbits finding equilibrium. The observatory staff thinks we're conducting long-term astronomical research, Vera said with a mischievous smile. They approved our weekly reservation for the entire semester. Very dedicated students, Kaith agreed, his fingers interlacing with Milo's. The most dedicated, Milo laughed, though I think the only convergence we're really studying is this one. Vera kissed him softly. The most important research of our lives. Over the following months, Observatory Deck 7 became their sanctuary. The university assumed 3 brilliant students were mapping meteor patterns and stellar phenomena. Only the cosmos knew the truth, that the most profound discovery happening in that chamber wasn't astronomical. It was the simple, revolutionary truth that some hearts were meant to orbit together, that love didn't diminish when divided among multiple souls, but multiplied instead, and that the most beautiful convergences happened not in the distant stars, but in the spaces between 3 bodies finding harmony. Lessons from the stellar exchange. Love knows no singular form. True connection recognizes that hearts can expand to hold multiple people without diminishing the depth of feeling for any one person. Love multiplies rather than divides. Vulnerability is the gateway to intimacy. The twins' courage to express their feelings after years of silent longing reminds us that authentic connection requires the risk of being seen, and that the fear of rejection should never prevent us from reaching toward what we truly desire. Cultural differences enrich rather than divide. The meeting of Tethyssan openness and human reserve created something more beautiful than either culture alone, proving that our differences, when approached with curiosity and respect, become bridges rather than barriers. The greatest discoveries are made together. While the universe offers endless mysteries to explore, the most profound revelation is finding souls who see you completely and choose to intertwine their journey with yours, creating a constellation of love that outshines any distant star.